Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Online Racing League with me, CRGG. I hope you're all keeping extremely well. I'm back with you live on your screens here on YouTube, here on the Online Racing League channel. And I'm joined without Maku. Unfortunately, it's all by myself here today. You've only got me. But nonetheless, we're going to make sure you have an exciting stream here tonight. We got some phenomenal drivers out on scene, including the return of many familiar faces. Obviously, the likes of Napadovsky. We got the likes of Calcifer. Padlo Futej has joined the lineup here today. Photon. Antoine is there as well. We got Steve, Vallejo. Oh, we got some real good quality drivers here today, folks. Here at Monza, the circuit of Monza, here at Italy. And we're just about to get ready for some qualifying. I hope you all are keeping well in the chat as well. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is George Morgan, also known as CRG Geo, and I'm very, very proud to be here as your host with the most here tonight at the Online Racing League. But without any further ado, we're going to head down to the track for this very final social race of the calendar. Obviously, this weekend we have got live racing for the very first official ORL race on Sunday, and that'll be here at Monza. We're looking forward to it. This is pretty much the calm before the storm, folks. It's going to be really, really awesome. I can see there, we're on board there with Bastek. We haven't seen much of this man, but he represents the clan of VSR, and certainly driving the orange McLaren like it's going out of style as he makes his way around the swinging right-hander. That is the Curva Grande, the famous Curva Grande. You know, the likes of Crofty, who says, will it be a Grande move? I expect we'll see some Grande moves here today around that swinging right-hander on the outset of that first chicane, or the second chicane, sorry, I'm getting that wrong, the Rogia chicane, heading round the Curva de Lesmo, also known as the Lesmos. You got two Lesmos, the first and second, both as demonizing as the other. They are very, very tricky. Make sure you handle and caress your car around those bends as best you can. Heading out now down the Serragilio, and he'll then be coming out towards the Ascari chicane. You can see that very quick chicane. You can take near enough flat out. You have to let yourself off the power slightly, downshift twice, and just ease your car through the curves. Always ever careful going through that chicane, as if you hit the curb on the outset, you will be flying into a steel barrier. Certainly not where you want to be, and I'm sure these drivers will be doing their utmost to ensure that their car stays on the track this evening. But I got to say, very much looking forward to bringing you all the live coverage here today. As you can see, a few of the guys are out on out laps. Very much looking forward, to what qualifying is going to bring. I'm just going to quickly check these volume levels just to make sure you guys are not being deafened by the sounds in the chat. I hope you guys are all keeping well. As you can see, yeah, you got 10. You're up to 10 there. We can't be having that certainly here. Might be a little loud for you. You won't be able to hear the commentary, but nonetheless, Bastek is out on a flying lap. Let's see what the man in orange can do. He's making his way around the Curva Grande, and very soon making his way up towards the Rogia chicane, the second chicane on the circuit, as we said previously. He comes up to it. He wants to try and swallow as much of the curve on the inset as possible. Perfectly done there by Bastek. Very well done indeed. Lots of pace. Just brakes just after the 50 and just swings his car around the first Lesmos. Now he's got the second Lesmos to contend with. Brakes around that bend. Doesn't even touch a curb on the instep, but on the outset swallows a lot of it. Gives him a nice tidy exit as Andy posts a 118.165. A very good fast time to get us underway, though I'm sure we'll see some more that are very, very competitive to that as we now make our way out the Ascari. And you can see there, just clipping the curves there, VSR Bastek looking ever prominent here on the backstretch as we make our way down towards the famous Parabolica, or in, as the Italians say, the Curva Parabolica. As he makes his way around now, you can see there the home straight, the paddock on the right hand side. Photon goes quickest with a 118.104 as we now see Bastek across the line. P5 with a 118.317. Good time indeed, and certainly a red hot start to qualifying with these drivers on track. Just looking further down, of course, we've got plenty of drivers who have yet to field times. Obviously Steve, who had a great performance last week, was battling right through, now back in the pit lane. Kruzic, though, out on his flying lap, certainly looking for an improvement in his fortunes. Naturally, he didn't have the easiest of races last week when we were at the Hungarian Grand Prix, but nonetheless, we'll be seeing him here again, battling it out with the best of them here at Monza, the circuit of Monza. Certainly ample, loads of history at this circuit, the most wins being taken by Michael Schumacher, albeit he has been joined by Lewis Hamilton as the total highest number of wins. This circuit length, bear in mind, 3.6 miles, that being 5.793 kilometers. A phenomenal circuit. Lots, like I said, steeped in absolute phenomenal history, and I'm sure these guys will do it justice here today. Very much looking forward to seeing what happens out on this circuit. just looking further up as well. We got Lucas there. Lucas, one to watch. This man packs a lot of pace, a lot of punch, and certainly will be driving the Red Bull like he's going out of style, like it's going out of style, should I see. But Red Bull will never go out of style, certainly not when it gives you wings, as he rounds the final bend now out of the parabolic on the right-hand side. You've got the paddock, comes across the line. It's going to be P11. Not quite the time he had in mind to get his game going. 118.954 was his time. No improvement to break it to the top 10 there. But I got to say, still a long way to go, folks. We've got just over 12 minutes of qualifying left to go, and you've got to give credit to every single one of these guys for really putting everything on the line here, even in the social events. Just because they're not competing for points doesn't mean to say that they're going to hold back or anything like that. You're going to be seeing raw racing here at ORL. That's all you ever get, certainly with the standard of these drivers that we have here today, and certainly the likes of Hayes, I got to say, very impressive last season. Andy, of course, also known as Andinator, the B-Split world champion from last season, looking like he has something to prove this year, and he was very impressive last week. We really like the look of him. And let's not forget Photon looking to put last year's woes to bed after winning the world championship a season ago. Don't forget Jarno Opmeer winning the title last season. And Photon, I can only imagine, has got ideas on his mind to reclaim that Drivers' Championship that he believes he so rightly deserves. And I got to say, he's made a cracking start to that here at Monza. I'll be looking forward to seeing what he can do. Certainly in the race format, it's going to be very interesting indeed, folks. As we now look further down, of course, we got quite a few drivers out on track. Akamaru, now we haven't seen a lot of this man in the Haas, just making his way around the Lesmos now as well. He's already set a lap time of a 118.469. He is now in P6. Certainly a lot more to come from this man. You know, he's not far away from Photon, 0.3 of a second. Just look at those time gaps, folks. Just look at those pure time gaps. Phenomenal pace amongst this grid, like we keep saying week in, week out through the season. We now see Vallejo setting a lap there as well. He is just nailed a 118.524 for the Racing Point team. And Kluk Luke has just left the lobby. And we've just had Syke join as well, so we've got a few names now trickling in and out. But I've got to say, I think we're in for yet more drama. Padlo Futej out on a flying lap as well, the other Haas car. Padlo Futej, from AOR, Apex Online Racing, a very formidable opponent as well, very quick. And certainly Haas packing certainly a good driver lineup in this race. Obviously Akamaru, his teammate, P6 at this moment in time. But like I said, they're not contending for points this time, folks. Obviously, they're going to be looking to try and really, I suppose, set a trend or set the wheels in motion for the season ahead. And Padlo Futej, certainly no weak character in sim racing. We saw him last season in AOR, looked ever devastating. I had the opportunity to commentate alongside Aladar for that season, and Padlo Futej was one of the top-end drivers battling it out for podium positions. And I'm sure he'd be looking to do the same here today. I'm sure he can go quicker than a 119.136 as he makes his way out through the Rogier chicane. And be coming around the first Lesmos now. But still nothing breaking that time that Photon has set. 118.104. That's the time still to beat. That's the purple. And I'm sure he's looking or feeling more and more confident, is Photon. I got to say, he really did have a real unfortunate season last year. Had to contend with the likes of Jarno Opmeer and speed barriers. Akamaru nails P2. A phenomenal rise is Nicholas Matteo. What a lap that is. A 118.033. Just breaks Photon within a tenth of a second. Phenomenal. The slimmest of margins, slimmer, like I said before, like a fly's eye, well, thinner than a fly's eyelash, should I say. Nicholas Matteo nailing a P1 time of 118.033 with over 8.5 minutes left to go here in quali. And Hayes does a number on him now as well. Phenomenal numbers here, folks. Hayes nailing a 118.002. Mercedes on the top of the classifications once again. This time Hayes with the plaudits as Photon drops down with Andinator moving into P3. And we got more movement because Nicholas Matteo, Photon goes back into P2. These times flying in like rapid fire at the moment, folks. The AlphaTauri now back on the front row of the grid with a 118.018. Phenomenal lap time there by Photon and the AlphaTauri F1 team. Certainly a phenomenal lap. He's going to be well happy with that. Akamaru looking like he had the hero plaudits for just a moment, but unfortunately wiped down, back down to 5th. but still a place improvement on when he was, where he was originally. P6 he was, now he's been promoted up to P5, so, you know, any movement's a bonus, certainly if it's going upwards. But credit to all those drivers at the front end. Nicholas Matteo, though, we haven't seen any of this man, but he nails a quality lap time, certainly for the Alfa Romeo team. Obviously, no Jarno Opmeer here today, and I got to say, Jarno, after recent performances, certainly hasn't lost any of his ability. I got to say, certainly our current ORL champion will once again be lighting up the online racing league. It's going to be very interesting, certainly, to see how he gets on this season. Obviously, new season, new drivers, new pace, and I got to say, it's moments like these that we always treasure, certainly as sim racing commentators and sim race viewers. You guys at home are obviously going to be looking forward to seeing some of the best in the business out on this track. CRG Napadovsky, a man with a lot of history in this league as well, certainly had to battle a lot in the midfield last season. We saw many a great battle with Napadovsky at the helm, certainly driving the Williams car with such credibility. I got to say, he brought us some really amazing moments, battles with the likes of Jan Fiedler and many others as well. It certainly was a pleasure to watch, and we'll look forward to seeing what this man can do, certainly going into what will be another ORL season. We're now within 6.5 minutes, folks, nearly 6 minutes 30, just about, and I got to say, very, very thrilled with what's happening out on the track right now. But Hayes is your man on top, 118.002. The man is on a mission. Mercedes looking to once again lay down a Constructors' title challenge this season. Certainly living in dreamland after what happened with Jarno Opmeer last season, and getting the points that they did. It was a phenomenal season for Mercedes, and they're hoping they can do it once again. As you can see, Napadovsky making his way down the stretch. Obviously, just after the Ascari chicane, he'll have the Parabolica to take next. And we'll just get the, just realised we haven't got the lap data here, folks. Obviously, Napadovsky out on an out lap, and he'll be prepping for his fast lap indeed. But just look at the grid order. We've got plenty of cars out on track, plenty of upsets to be had. Daniel 17 now coming round the Ascari in the AlphaTauri. Can he join Photon in the top 10? Let's find out. I can see that he's just preparing his car potentially for another run. But looking for the down VSR Muller. Also about to go into the famous Parabolica bend as well in the Red Bull. What can he do? Can he improve his propositions for this race? Certainly it'll be a great coup if Red Bull can do this for him. Red Bull currently outside the top 10, P13 and 14. As we now see Muller going to P5, dropping Akamaru down to P6. Phenomenal lap time there, 118.120. A dramatic improvement there from Muller, sending him into the top 5. He's going to be well chuffed with that. He is now on the third row of the grid, and that is certainly where Red Bull are going to want to be for the start of the Grand Prix. But like I said, it's still a long way to go. We've still got Nicholas Matteo out on track as well, setting fast laps. We've got Akamaru, Vallejo, don't forget him. Napadovsky's in the mix as well. Bastek, as we now see, movement once again up the top. And once again, you can see Antoine making his way up to P7. Akamaru dropping down to P8. And it looks like it was Bastek's and McLaren's are on P4 and 5 now, and indeed that drops Muller down to P6. So look at the times at the top. If you split the 118s, the early 118s, they're all within 0.5 of a second between Ps 1 and 11. Phenomenal timings there on the circuit. So outside the 0.5 of a second gap from P1 is P12 onwards. Phenomenal scenes. Of course, we're yet to see anything from Kruzic at the moment. Obviously, his teammate Hayes currently notching P1 position here in qualifying, as Muller just making his way down the straight now. We're just going to have a little look down at some of the other prospects that we have out on track. As you can see, Napadovsky now making his way. I think he just cut the chicane there slightly there, swallowed a lot of it. Just looking further down, Calcifer also out on a fast lap. He's looking to improve. I spoke to Calcifer just before the start of the Grand Prix, and indeed he was hoping for some form of improvement here for the Alfa Romeo team, and it certainly will be interesting to see what he can do, because naturally Calcifer is known for being at the top orders. Nicholas Matteo, I speak for Alfa. Alfa goes top. Nicholas Matteo at 117.945, the first man to break the 117s. Phenomenal lap time there from the Alfa Romeo driver. It certainly has been phenomenal to see. And I got to say, Calcifer diving into the pit lane, not ready to set a fast lap just yet. It's certainly going to be an interesting race, folks. We've got so many new faces as Hayes goes back faster with a 117.700. Phenomenal once again. Drama here at Monza, like we expected anything else. But yet, the Tifosi unable to scream and shout about the Ferraris at the moment. They're still in P8 and P16, looking for rapid improvement, that's for sure. But phenomenal scenes here at Monza with Hayes now retaking the top spot. What drama here at Monza, folks. It's been nothing short of exquisite. We're really looking forward to seeing what happens here. Do apologise, folks. My video just going live there on the right-hand side. But absolutely brilliant scenes here in this race, I've got to say. Phenomenal scenes. Phenomenal. But Hayes taking top spot. 117.7. With Nicholas Matteo P2, with Photon P3, Andy P4, Bastek joining his teammate P5. Amazing stuff here from the McLaren team. Certainly looking like one of the stronger prospects. Akamaru, though, in P9. Vallejo is still got to catch up with his teammate in the top 10, but certainly good to see the two racing points up there in the mix. And looking further down, Lucas UK, we expected a lot of going through the start of the season. He certainly is a rising star in the world of sim racing, setting hot laps certainly on the time trial system, albeit we haven't seen much of him in terms of race pace, but he was phenomenal at Hungary last week, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do here at Monza. And it certainly will be interesting to see. I hope you guys are all enjoying it in the chat. We've got 14 live viewers currently at the moment. Please do raise your glasses in appreciation for these guys on track. We now see Nicholas Matteo retiring for the session in P3. Can he stay there? That's the question. Obviously, can't set another lap time. 1 minute 25 remaining in this qualifying session. Look at the string of cars we got in front of Lucas right now. You can see there Tim Palm there as well in the Williams. And we haven't seen much of the Williams in this qualifying session. And he's got SHZ Chris as his teammate for this one as Hayes also retires. Feels comfortable of that 117.7, and why wouldn't he be? Phenomenal scenes, I got to say, from Hayes. And certainly was impressive last season and really showing his qualifications as a driver to be in P1 here today with Andy still trying to chase for that top spot. It is going to be absolutely unreal, folks. I hope you're all enjoying it in the chat room. I'm enjoying it. I'm on my own. I mean, if anyone cares to join me, you're more than welcome. We can get a proper stream going, but phenomenal scenes here at Monza. We always like to see it. And I got to say, it's certainly going to be exciting to watch. Really exciting. Obviously, do post your driver predictions in the live chat, folks. Always interested to hear what you have to say. And, you know, it's of the utmost importance we can get, obviously, views from yourselves as fans of the series. Just reading out a few comments now. We're seeing Mr. Young Lights. Yo, Gio, I'm watching your stream on Insta as well. Yeah, I've had to close that down, unfortunately, just so I can read the comments here. But never mind. Comment from Ken Boosted. Great to be back here. Great to have you back as well, Ken. Hope you're keeping well. We got Callum Teasdale. Lewis without line. Oof. Well, I'll tell you what, maybe that's something to look out for. We will soon find out. All-Rounder saying hi. Hi, All-Rounder. Hope you're keeping well. E-Jins, you like UV? He's fast. But yeah, phenomenal scenes here. Get well, Shumi as well. Obviously, get well, Shumi. Some words of wisdom and support for Muller. So let's see how he gets on. If Muller doesn't win, €10 for Muller. Joke. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. No, I got to say, guys, excellent to have everyone with us here for the last of the evaluation or social races here at ORL. And very much looking forward to what the race will bring. Hayes still on top spot, but Antoine, credit to Antoine, goes second place. Photon snatching it at the death, though. 117.782, within a tenth of Hayes, no less. A phenomenal time for a Photon to bring it back at the death. And as we come towards the end, we've only got a matter of minimum number of cars here towards the end of this qualifying session. Lucas still yet to come past. Calcifer as well. Tim Palm, Daniel 17 yet as well. Steve, Padlo Footage has finished. Mirage Puto is in the pits, but we got some movements here as well, folks. Chris at the P12, Lucas UK still in P14, yet to finish just yet, and he finishes P14 for Lucas. Not the ideal session for him indeed, looking for improvement, but Napadovsky moves into P10 as well, so great day for Napadovsky to get into the top 10. I'm sure he'll be looking about both Ferraris in the top 10 as well, with Steve in P8, so some late movements here on the circuit. The Tifosi will be thrilled to see their two drivers contesting it out in the top end, that's for sure. But I got to say, absolute scenes. Photon back amongst the top spots here. P2 goes to that man, but Hayes, you can't take anything away from him at 117.700. Phenomenal scenes there, folks. Unbelievable scenes. I love that word, scenes. Out of this world driving from some of these guys. It certainly has been a pleasure to watch. We're just going to have a small break, obviously, folks, because obviously the race is just about to be upon us. And very much looking forward to seeing what these guys can bring us here on track. I got to say, what can we expect from this? Hayes leading the way in terms of raw pace. He's clearly the man to beat here today, mastering his way around the Monza circuit. The Italian circuit is going to be phenomenal to see this race. Certainly the chicanes are going to be testing, and it's a case of who can manage them the best right now. But Photon, second place on the grid. Phenomenal scenes from him as well to get back to his best. Obviously had a tricky season, like I said, last season, but this is your rundown of your classifications. You can see there Hayes, P1, Photon, P2. You got Antoine, what a drive from him to get into P3. Andy in P4. Matteo in P5. Akamaru P6. Bastek P7. Steve in P8. Muller P9. Nabadowski P10. You got Vallejo P11. Chris in P12. UV in P13. Lucas UK in P14. Tim Palm P15. Calcifer P16. I'm sure he would have expected better there. Daniel 17 P17. Padlo Futej, not usually at the back, in P18. P19 for Mirage Puto. And Kruzic P20. Unfortunately for him, unable to capture the form of last season. But what a phenomenal lineup we have for this race, folks. Do keep it with us. It's going to be phenomenal. And we'll be bringing you the race any moment now. But like I said, please leave your predictions in the chat, folks. Really want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear who your Ps, 1, 2s and 3s are for the end of this Grand Prix. It's going to be nothing short of exquisite. I'm looking forward to bringing it to you. And I hope you're all having a good evening as well. And a few comments here. Ken Boosted, how are you enjoying? How are you liking? Sorry, the 2020 game. I'm loving it, Ken. I think it's the absolute bomb. I've got to say I've enjoyed the commentaries I've done with it. Certainly some really interesting new features. I've got to say I think there's a few bugs that need to be sorted out, but that goes without saying. I think every year when a Formula 1 game comes out, we're always talking about the bugs and how we can improve them. So that's nothing new really in the series. But that being said, I'm very, very pleased with the direction it's taken. The My Team, I think, is a phenomenal addition. And I've got to say, all the power to them. I hope they can keep kicking on from here and we can see more new features brought into this game and that we can develop it further and not let it stagnate like it did so over the years. But they're just about to go out on the formation lap now, folks. As you can now see, they've now left their pit bays. And we'll just get the lap data out ready for the start of the race. Naturally, we're all looking forward to seeing what happens, certainly in terms of strategies. Obviously, tyres are very crucial in that. It's interesting to see a lot of the guys, even at the back, Padlo Futej and Mirage Puto, on the soft tyres at this moment in time. Which, how is that going to affect proceedings, certainly, towards the end of this Grand Prix? Because I can imagine that, obviously, a lot of the guys on the softs you'd expect to be at the top end. I mean, I find it interesting that even the guys in the latter stages of the top 10 are actually on the softs. You would have thought that they might have considered mediums in even the P8s, 9s and 10th positions. But nonetheless, they've opted for the softs. So let's see how that works out for them. Obviously, the initial few laps here at ORL, very much going to be a gunslinger, certainly with the amount of quality drivers at the top end. As we now see Hayes and Photon there, and Antoine for that matter, warming up the tyres of the car, obviously to ensure that the grip is to optimal temperature. And it's certainly going to be great. This is just a taster. This is just but a taster, shall I say, folks, as to what we can expect for this weekend. Certainly we're looking forward to seeing these guys battle it out for the ORL Championship, which will commence this Sunday here at Monza. So do not miss it. It's going to be great. Obviously, 7:45 is when it all kicks off yet again. You can see the predicted pit stop strategies here. And we're expecting a one-stop, no less. Mediums will be applied. And I'd imagine it's going to be around lap 10 or lap 11 that we'll start seeing the initial pit stops be undertaken. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see it all unfold as Hayes now leads them down towards their respective grid bays. The flags being flown in the stands. And there's that smart new Mercedes livery. I say new. Looks almost the same as last year, that they have obviously retained, a couple of changes there, but obviously retained their core livery. Photon also coming to join him on the front row of the grid as well in the AlphaTauri. Silence falls upon the circuit of Monza, folks. We're just about to get ready. We're on board there with Hayes, as the lights will be going up shortly. And here we go, folks. The lights about to go out. And it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go. And Photon gets away the quickest. He made use of that phenomenal start and breaks away clear. And Hayes there in P2. The rest seem to get away to a slow one. As you can now see Antoine pushing against that Mercedes early on, going into turn 1, out of turn 2. And indeed it's Photon 1.2 seconds ahead. Antoine P3 behind Hayes. Matteo moving at the back as we now see that what looks to be Andinator dropping down to P20. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's off the track and there's a certain amount of damage to that McLaren, but Photon leading the way from the get-go. In behind, SHZ Hayes there in P2. In behind him, Antoine for Racing Point. In behind him, Akamaru. What a start he had in the Haas. The Jack and Jones livery lit up like a Christmas tree, trying to get down on Antoine right now to move into P3 as they make their way around the two Lesmos bends. Once again, the predicted pit stop strategy, lap 10 to lap 12. We are expecting these drivers to pit onto their respective tyres. We've got 16 people live in the chat right now watching the phenomenal scenes unfold as Photon leads the way. What a start that man had for the AlphaTauri. It almost looked like a jump start, but obviously couldn't have been. I mean, the lights went out at the right time, so you cannot blame Photon for that. As we now see a battle at the back, Colt Calcifer making waves through the field. P12 goes to that man there. The Alfa Romeo now challenging now against Lucas UK, who goes down the inside of the Parabolica and does indeed take P12, relegates Calcifer. Phenomenal racing there by Lucas UK as he bombs down the stretch. It's absolute scenes here. Right, we're going to have to calm it down because obviously I'm the only commentator here today, folks, that's carrying this actual stream, so you've got to bear with me. But I've got to say, what a start to this Grand Prix. Photon leading the charge, making his way around the Curva Grande. In behind him, Antoine being led, well, leading a contingent of cars there with Muller in P2. Vallejo in up there as well. We're having a little issue with our telemetry right now, folks, so do bear with us. But Photon very much leading the way. Do not pay attention to what's going on the left because even I don't know what's going on there. But Antoine in P3. In behind him, Akamaru. Nicholas Matteo in P5. Steve, P6. What a start there for Steve, moving up a couple of places from P8 up to P6. The two McLarens have had an absolute nightmare. Bastek was relegated down to P8 position. Remember, the two McLarens starting P4 and P5 at the start of the Grand Prix. Looking further down, Chris making some moves as well for Williams. And I've got to say, that's great news for the Williams team, who have not enjoyed the best of times in recent seasons in real life F1. But certainly Chris applying a little bit of push here for the team here, now in P10. Here at Monza. Phenomenal scenes here at the start of this Grand Prix. Lap 3 of 27 now. And obviously this lap, the DRS has become active. Just looking further up now, you can see now Nicholas Matteo trying to surge up on Akamaru, but no move being made just yet. As we now see Mirage Puto going toe-to-toe here by what looks to be Tim Palmer. I think that was a pit stop or something like that because the gap seemed to close up pretty quickly. But it looks like he's on his own now, so interesting scenes there. But looking further up, you can see Akamaru really plugging into the back of VSR Anton, who knows he's got a real battle on his hands because Akamaru showing some phenomenal turn of foot there in qualifying and certainly wants to try and apply the same attitude in his race. He's got Antoine, you can see him dead ahead of him, the Racing Point currently in P3. The gap is just under 0.5 of a second with Akamaru just plugged in behind the Racing Point, the Haas, looking for improved fortunes this season. Loses it a little bit there around the second Lesmos. Got to be careful around there or you can end up certainly in the kitty litter, and that's not where you want to be. But the classifications are as follows, folks. You got Photon there in P1 leading the charge, Hayes there in P2. We got a great strung out list of drivers right now, and certainly the battles are going to be coming in thick and fast, folks, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled as to what's going on, because certainly it's all going to be uproar from here. Pablo Fuentes, just to say, has got a 3-second time penalty, but not only that, he's managed to move up 2 places in the classification from P18 up to P16, so not a bad start from the other Haas driver either. So Haas currently P4 and P16 in this race, so they're running extremely well. In behind, Nicholas Matteo now looking to close the gap as Akamaru has a little look down the inside of Antoine. We said that Antoine's got to be careful, but I think the story as well is that Hayes has managed to close the gap on Photon within 0.4 of a second, so he's making some incredible pace here, rounding the corner at the Curva Grande. No Grande moves here just yet here from Hayes as they make their way down towards the second chicane, that being the Rogier chicane, and indeed Hayes looking like a certainly looking like Dennis the Menace right now in that Silver Arrows car. The Mercedes looking to really push the boundaries here against the AlphaTauri of Photon, who obviously, being in P1, does not have DRS, and therefore has to try and manage his circuit as best he can in order to stay in P1. But it's going to be a true battle for him as they make their way down the straight, down the Serragilio, into what will be the Ascari chicane, the quick chicane on this circuit that you can take near enough full power. As you can now see Hayes really applying the pressure now. They make it round now. You can see Photon still leading the charge. In behind Hayes now you've got Antoine in P3 and he's under pressure. He's got a string of cars in behind him and we have yellow flags in sector 3 because it looks like Chris has made a mistake in the Ascari chicane and he has. Damage there to that Williams. That is not ideal whatsoever. Yellow flags are on the wave and as we look further up the grid now we got Akamaru making a move here on the inside of Antoine down into turn 1. What's it going to be at the Retafilio? It's going to be Akamaru charging here at the racing point, but well done Antoine for pushing back, but it's Akamaru and the Haas P3. Phenomenal move there from that man as we now see Matteo making his way around Antoine. You can see now him really closing the gap on that PWT livery. Is it going to be a Grande move? No, not at all. Not this time, he says. Nicholas Matteo sticking to P5 as he comes out on the outset, heading towards the first of the Lesmos. And phenomenal moves being made here today, folks. Phenomenal scenes. It certainly has been a war of attrition here in the early 5 laps. I've got to say, we are enjoying what we're seeing. Absolute scenes. But Hayes still in P2. Photon leading the way. 0.4 of a second still separating these two as they make their way around the Ascari. And you can see there, the Mercedes really trying to close the gap. He might get his chance here on the straight. Let's find out. Obviously, Hayes, we know he's got pure pace. Last season, he really showed it. Certainly at Monza, he was phenomenal at Monza. And we're seeing it here again today. And hopefully he can apply the same trait he had last year and get a similar result here again today as we now see him make his way down the home stretch. He will have DRS now. You can see he's just punched it now, heading towards what will be the Retafilio. And indeed, here comes Hayes down the inside, or on the outside, should I say, of the paddock. You can see there the AlphaTauri trying to defend, but here comes Hayes. What a move there by Hayes, making use of the track limits, using that Mercedes power, using the DRS, punches into P1. Hayes is the P1 machine. Mercedes on top step, with Photon still challenging here as they make their way around the Curva Grande, making their way down towards what will be the Rogier chicane. And it's still Hayes on top, but albeit Photon still glued to that rear end gearbox of that Mercedes. Phenomenal scenes to make their way around what will be the first of the Lesmos. The second Lesmos is next on the list. They make their way around, swallowing a little bit of the curve there. Very nice and clean indeed. Looking further down, we got Muller in P8, really trying to close on Bastek, who inadvertently is closer to Steve, who's actually having a great race so far, but his time might be numbered in P6, because here comes Bastek with the ultimate McLaren recovery, coming in on the inside. What a move going into Ascari. The orange McLaren making ways, and into P6, getting close to where he started on the grid. Certainly a great performance so far from Bastek, and a very, very good indicator as to what his pace is coming here into Monza. Here at the ORL evaluation race. It's something we've been looking forward to seeing. Obviously, plenty of new drivers here on the scene, and we're very much looking forward to seeing what these guys can do leading up to what will be a very exciting Grand Prix here on the weekend. We're very much looking forward to it as we now already have Steve, who's out of the race by looks of it. Indeed, he came into the pits to retire, so he did the noble thing, but that means that Ferrari have only got one car left in it, that being Napadovsky. And he's all the way back in P16, P15 should I say. So I don't know what's happened there, folks, but obviously it's not been Ferrari's day here today. As we now look further up the grid, we can see that Photon once again trying to close the gap on Hayes. He might get his chance here, heading down what will be the Serragilio as they make their way around the second Lesmos. And Hayes looking like he might be in a little bit of danger, albeit the time gap is quite good at the moment. He's got about 0.6 of a second in between him and the P2 car of Photon. As they come up towards the Ascari chicane, Hayes still holding his own in P1. The Mercedes, 1,000 brake horsepower in these cars, folks. Plenty of power in these F1 cars. And it certainly looks to me like Photon is closing the gap. Got lots of straight line speed, certainly in the setup, so that must be helping him out big time. The Honda engines of the AlphaTauri. Honda proving that they're a very, very good, certainly a very good acquisition by AlphaTauri and Red Bull over recent seasons, and certainly Red Bull have improved since their switch from the Renault engine, which obviously they were blighted with inconsistency and engine failures. I got to say, I think they were glad to make the switch when they did. Obviously, famously, you can see that in the Drive to Survive series. As we now see Photon now really trying to close onto Hayes right now as they make their way around the Curva Grande. And the Silver Arrow is now currently in P1, still holding his own. And I got to say, the time gap's not changing all that much. Hayes showing his pure pace once again. And it does take pure pace if you want to hang on to P1, certainly in territories where DRS is very effective. Monza, a very effective circuit for DRS, of course. I mean, the straights are very long. And you've got plenty of them. You can even make an overtake heading down the straight towards the Parabolica without the DRS. As you can now see the DRS being applied yet again. And the gap between Hayes and Photon closing all the time. But not enough for Photon to make a crucial overtake. And Hayes now has got to try and break the time gap before they get to the home stretch. Because obviously, if Photon gets his car close enough heading into what will be the home straight next to the paddock, he's going to have a great chance to make an overtake here in lap 8 of 27, moving into lap 9. But it all remains to be seen as we now see the AlphaTauri round in the final bend there. And you can now see Hayes dashing into the pit lane for a very early pit stop. And that must be a trip onto the hard tyres. I would not be surprised. I don't think it's quite the time for mediums. But maybe a calculated move here by Hayes. But no, he has gone for the mediums. So that's very interesting indeed, folks. In fact, we've seen a few go for the mediums. So obviously they feel that conservation of the compound, certainly here at Monza, is effective enough. But we will soon see. Photon leading the charge. Doing extremely well. Apologies, folks. I'm afraid I'm going to struggle to commentate much longer. My voice is actually about to break, so I will have to, unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it a night for myself. But we're going to keep the stream running, so feel free to keep watching the coverage. Obviously, I want to conserve my voice for this weekend, obviously for the start of the Grand Prix season. Been advised, obviously, to not continue with tonight. Obviously, I just felt my voice box go a little bit, so I do apologise, folks. Obviously, I'm unable to continue, but please continue to watch the race. Obviously, we'll be keeping things on Photon and the leaders for the time being. So please enjoy the coverage that we've got here for you at ORL, and we'll look forward to seeing who wins at the end of the race. Please also add your driver predictions as well. We still want to see those, but obviously from me, CRGGO, unfortunately, I'm really sorry about this, guys. First time this has ever happened to me, but my voice is on the brink. So I'll speak to you guys soon, but enjoy the race. Thank you. Goodbye.